and that's where it leads us to now,
where
we've both
caught up on
yeah.
UQ Holder. I just finished. Andrew has been caught up for quite a while now.
And so UQ Holder is you take
you caught up back around chapter 70 or so, right?
Yeah. Around 79, I think. 79. Back when, right when he meets what's her name, Dana.
Okay.
Yeah. I that's when I caught up, when he first meets Dana.
Okay.
But basically, UQ Holder is if you think that Love Hina was Negima was right off the heels of Love Hina, UQ Holder is literally picking up and leaving off and like continuing where he left off with Negima.
Yeah.
And it's just a continuous, like, again, we were talking about this already. It starts off as, okay, it's its own separate thing.
It feels like its own unique thing.
In its own world.
One reoccurring character who's here
who's
again.
Ava. Yeah. Who Ava as one of the best characters from Negima.
Yeah,
you
she's
take her,
definitely one of my favorite, top 3 for sure, from Negima.
And you take her, and you bring her back, and you bring up this new character who's related to Negi, and then you go, cool, let's, like it's its own story.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, it's like, you see one thing, you go, oh, hey, that's a callback, with the gravity sword. Oh, Alberino, that's cool. And you
slowly start throwing in more
and then you get
more.
And then you get to Magi Arabia, and you go, oh, okay, there.
Now this is suddenly showing up too.
And then 10 chapters later, Fate comes in, goes, I'm here to save Negi. And you go,
what?
This is a little bit more sequel than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Then you finish the school blimp arc.
Yeah.
And it just goes, we need to go save Negi and Nagi from the Mage of the Beginnings, who was set up as the main villain of Negima.
Yeah.
Is now back as the main
So the
villain.
plot point that was left behind and was the big unanswered question at the end of Negima has now been picked up again in UQ Holder, and we're very slowly moving towards that.
Yeah, and now it's like, okay, this is full sequel.
Yeah.
And what is your opinion on Toda?
Toda? Yeah. I like Toda as a character. I like that he's very different from Negi.
Yeah.
Like, he's a lot more like Negi was from what we've seen than the way Negi is. Honestly, it seems like he really is...
more of Nagi than Negi.
Yeah, extremely like Nagi. To an extent.
Originally, when I thought it was like, it skips a generation. And then it does the huge plot twist at chapter 6, and you go, this...
Let's throw that whole generation thing out the window.
We'll get to that when we'll go chronologically here.
Yeah.
And so we meet Toda, and then Evangeline comes back as Yukihime.
Yeah, okay.
As an older
For some reason, I didn't recognize Evangeline as Yukihime
until
the second chapter when she turns into a vampire for a bit. She is a vampire.
No. You knew it when they literally call her Evangeline M.K. McDowell.
I got it right before they called her that.
Okay.
Like a page or two before they named her, mentioned her by name. I was like, oh shit.
That's Evangeline.
This was Evangeline the whole time.
Because if you remember, that's literally Evangeline's adult form, but with a different haircut.
Yeah, I just forgot how her adult form looked, so it took me a while.
Her lolly form's the best.
Yeah, I prefer her in her.
Which we'll get to that. We'll get to that again.
Yeah.
And then we have again her coming back as a character from Negima was fantastic. Because she's immortal.
Yeah.
She's one of the few people who lives for a very long time in the original cast.
Yeah, she's set 800 years at this point.
And when you have it where,
Negima, 800
where basically this manga is a time skip from Negima.
80 years in the future.
80 years in the future, where all the characters are now dead except for a handful.
Except for the ones that
aren't dead.
Because of assorted reasons.
Assorted reasons that we'll come to as we get chronologically to them. And it just shows I remember, again, coming off the heels of rereading Negima, having Negima in my heart
fresh
as all those years ago, and coming back to my love for the series, and then opening it up, first 2 pages, tears in my eyes. I was crying, because literally it was all your friends that you had in Negima are now dead. They're just all straight dead.
They're all gone at this point.
RIP, rest in peace, all of them are mostly dead.
So many of them were probably not going to get to see, unfortunately.
Yeah, except in probably flashbacks and videos, which again, that was one of the greatest videos that you've ever seen.
Yeah, dude. It's fun.
And then you have Yukihime as again feeling this immortal you see how she is as an immortal.
Yeah.
And then you have Toda now becoming an immortal and now going to be in the same position she is with his friends.
Yeah.
But then now you start and he goes, hey, I want to make my own friends with the immortals. Enter Koromaru.
Yeah, Koromaru shows up as our first immortal friend.
As basically the stand-in from Setsuna.
Yeah.
Like, he's basically Setsuna but an immortal.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you meet the whole cast of just, here are the numbers.
Yeah. You get your main group of numbers. We only pick up one immortal past the initial numbers.
Yeah, well, I'm not even counting Hammer Girl as one of the mains yet, because you really don't pick anything up. Like you don't really pick anything up the minute they get into.
Yeah.
But the main, like the ones that like I see sticking around are the main ones. Like now that I'm past, now that you're now caught up, is the main ones are basically Koromaru, Kiri, and Santa.
Yeah.
Those are like the three.
Those are our main three.
Yeah, those are.
And what's his face is with them a lot. Not
the robot
always.
Guy. The robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember
his name right now.
Yeah, but he's also one of the other stand. Like
he's with them more than
Hammer Girl.
More than.
Because Hammer
Girl. Her name starts. I
don't remember. We don't have anything open, but Hammer Girl is not quite as much in it as Robot Guy. And Robot Guy's pretty cool. Like
Robot. I enjoy Robot Guy.
Robot Guy's a lot better.
He's fun. It's funny because coming off of Negima, where we had
a huge cast.
No, but
okay.
What's her name?
Chachamaru.
Chachamaru. Yeah, I was as soon as we figured out he was a robot. I was.
Well, he's a cyborg.
I mean, yeah, he's a cyborg. He has his
quite
own
robot.
soul
Yeah.
implanted in. Also, it does leave you wondering where Chachamaru is since she was
Evangeline's. No. Now we saw it. We saw it in the recent chapters.
Did we?
Yeah, remember the chapter where they were introducing all like the old like they started introducing the new a bunch of new characters of like Shinobu coming back, and then it goes to Setsuna and Konaka's obvious kids. Yeah. Because they got married at the same time.
Obviously.
So that just drives the point that they're together.
Yeah.
You have Setsuna and Konaka's probably grandchildren because of the ages, and then you show class rep. She's old. Yeah. And then you have her kid there, but then behind her was a Chachamaru doll, like Chachamaru. I'm pretty sure.
When was this?
It was in like the chapter like right beforehand, like.
Literally one of our most recent.
Yeah,
chapters.
one of I think it was the chapter, like not the most recent chapter, but the chapter before that. Let me take a quick look. Okay.
Okay, now we can
take our time with looking at this.
Yeah. And then jump back to it.
95, I think. Right here, look. Check it out. I have it right here. Look. We have class rep's kid right here. And then move over to the side. There's class rep with Chachamaru. Unless that's another Chachamaru.
How did that go right over my head?
Yeah.
This entire group right here went completely over my head. I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that all.
That all there.
But yeah, and so now we've seen now. Okay, a collection of Evangeline still there. Yeah. We saw Mana, which is like that. Fate.
I was not expecting to see
Mana
out of all of the characters to show up again.
Goosebumps.
I was just like, okay, this is very sudden. Like, a lot of the other characters, even if it is sudden, it's been, hinted at before.
I like that moment where Toda is practicing exactly where Negi
used to practice.
And Mana goes, yo, this is some flashback.
Yeah. She's like, I have an inkling of who you are.
And then he goes, Mana's, basically the stand-in principal of the academy. And just great.
Just
fantastic. Because since it's set in 80 years after, but it's 20 years before the dawn of the new century, meaning she doesn't go off into war for another 20 years.
Yeah, so for now she's the stand-in here. And it's also, it's a great way to segue into the tournament arc that's
now the main plot right now.
Yeah, that's our current main plot, and that Nagi, and now Toda will all have participated in.
I like the part where, again, we get that. I'm going back again. The slums arc's cool, And that's when I started realizing, as Negima focuses heavily on the magic.
Yeah.
UQ Holder focusing
way
mainly
more on
the martial arts and the
physical
key.
Yeah. And somewhat more sciencey stuff.
Yeah, and I like that. Where again, it's not Negima, but it's also a sequel to Negima. But you know, we've done magic.
Yeah.
Let's
got
do
its
tech.
own flavor.
Let's do tech. And like when the part where they did like instant transmission, where they started describing...
They actually gave a full-on description of how instant transmission works instead of just having it be a thing that people use.
And it goes, cool, this series is now focusing more on the, you know, martial arts tech point of view.
Yeah.
And then we move forward from the slums to the station arc where straight up Fate is just fighting them.
Yeah, they literally have to fight Fate, and somehow
and that was such a cool fight, because it was like, they're like, yo, that first time we fought him, not good. We need to figure out a different way to fight him.
This is the first time we get to use what's her face?
Kiri's
save mechanic.
I'm telling you, I need to see a family tree.
Yeah, she totally looks like she's related to Chisame.
Doesn't she act and feel exactly like she's basically this version of what's her name again? Chisame, yeah.
Yeah.
As
she
Yuki
seems like she's descended from her.
As if like
we don't actually have
if
proof,
Koromaru is like the combination of Kotaru and Setsuna, you have her as basically the equivalent of Chisame, and I'm not entirely sure what Santa is at the moment.
Yeah, Santa's his own character at this point. I'm really liking him too.
No, okay.
He's so much fun.
I love Santa, because the thing is, at first I didn't really like Santa, and then I started liking Santa.
Dude, the group really needs his character there the way it is right now. Like, he's the most relaxed out of all of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Because Koromaru gets pretty, like,
I love the
riled up easily.
I love the moment where they're like, hey, you're looking at him as like you're like a person in love.
Yeah.
You need like if you're his friend, look towards the future, not
look forward. Yeah.
And I was like, that's such a great line. Like I was like, this is an amazing line. And then and I was like, this is how I was like, that's kind of the moment I knew, was like, this is picking up exactly where you left off. And you move forward to the moment where like you see Fate has basically taken the Alba and like has made it his own organization. And you have Demon Girl from Negima, and you go, what's she doing there?
Yeah, the girl who has the sword from... Is she the one that has the sword from Love Hina?
Yeah, no, that's Setsuna has the...
I thought Setsuna was trained, but I thought she had the sword. I could be wrong.
I could be wrong, too.
I'll have to look
And then you have all of his group, and you go, who are these guys? I can't wait to see them. Like, the equivalents of Griffith with all of his men. I want to see who all these guys are, but we're not going to get them for a while. And then you have, like, you know, the robot guy. Why does he have Chachimaru as, like, artifact?
Yeah.
And you go...
That dude has...
he has Chachimaru's...
Our robot immortal friend
he has
Chachimaru's artifact.
Yeah, exactly. And then that kind of shows that Chachimaru's still alive. Yeah. Because the artifact is still there.
Still there and operating.
Yeah, exactly. And then you move from there where you go, okay, now this is moving closer. Then you go to the actual school of Negima. Yeah. And what is it better of telling, no, this is a direct sequel, than doing it at the school?
Exactly. And we needed to come back to Mohora.
You have its own little simple arc of, you know, Toda and his friends fighting off this ghost. And you add Santa into the mix, and I remember reading the comments of, like, Santa's becoming a great main character, like, even surpassing Toda at this point.
Yeah, Santa's just... really enjoyable. He's
a ghost, but like he has a physical
form, yeah. And he's like, his immortality is pretty interesting too. Like they all have their own flavor of immortality.
Yeah, because I remember talking about, it's like basically Yuki holders, everyone has their different like, immortality, where Toda's vampire / clone.
Yeah.
Clone.
Exactly.
You have Koromaru, who's basically part demon.
He's part demon, and then he was experimented on with immortality stuff.
Kiri is the one who's, I'm not entirely sure of immortality. It's more like hers is the most fragile.
Yeah, hers is definitely the most fragile. Santa's is... I can't figure out how fragile Santa's is.
Because he could totally move on at any moment.
If he passes on and goes full on into the afterlife, he's dead, basically. He's not coming back. Like, he's dead right now,
Yeah.
But he's still...
Robot guy, he's also as fragile. It's like, if you kill him, he's dead.
Yeah, where do you think his consciousness is stored, though?
That is true.
He's switched into a different body at some point.
That is true.
So I'm assuming he has some sort of, like, chip or something.
That as
long as that's intact...
It's same as Chachamaru,
his consciousness can be... refitted.
Then there's the other guys where you have the samurai guy who ate the mermaid skin, so his is like, he's undying, but he could be hurt and killed.
Yeah.
You have the guy who, it's shown in the little bits early on, so it's not really explicitly stated, where you have the guy who basically has, like, lives.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool, and I wish he was
Which one is the one that has lives?
He's the second, like...
Is he the bartender?
The bartender guy, yeah, with the glasses.
Yeah, okay.
And has all the weapons.
Yeah.
He's the guy with all the lives. Okay. And I think that's really cool. And
that's interesting.
And each had their own brand of immortality, and Santa is such a cool character. And I kept describing the school arc as the blimp. Because the most notable part is where you go back to that blimp. You go back from the festival where they had that blimp.
And the blimp's still running after all these years. It's pretty...
And then you had the huge fight scene on top of them.
Yeah. Where things really do go as berserk, I think, as they're gonna go here.
Yeah,
just
where, like, everyone's dying left and right. People are turning into zombies. People are just, like, straight up, like, dying. We're, like... And then you have, like... Santa and, like, him, like, doing the neggy, trying to get onto the blimp.
Yeah.
And, like, how everyone's helping him get onto the blimp.
Make his way up there. Honestly, the whole save point aspect of Curious Power really opens up a lot of, like, story arc possibilities. Like, that whole arc couldn't have been written how it was
if
without her ability, like...
And I love the moments where, like, it's like, yeah, she's obviously a really overpowered, like, immortal... quote unquote.
Yeah.
But, like, you see how people are like fate paralyzes her, so she can't die. You have, then she turns into a zombie, so she's technically not dead.
Yeah.
She's just, like, plagued.
Undead, plagued at that point. So there are lots of ways to counter her ability, plus, we're unsure at this point, but if her save point is gone, does she...
You just straight up die?
Die at that point?
It's not explained.
Can she have a secondary super huge save point? Does she go just, like, all the way back to the beginning of her life and have to redo everything up to that point?
I'm really interested to know about, like...
That would be pretty... If she just went back to the moment she was born and
that's
I mean,
crazy.
Maybe not to the moment she was born, but whenever she first gained...
Yeah. Oh my god.
Or whenever she first set her first save point or something like that, if she went back to that point, that would be really weird.
Yeah.
She'd have to do everything the same over again to get to the same point.
Yeah, I liked that moment where again you go full on sequel where it's like the Mage of the Beginnings is the villain here, and then you go right after that where you discover like no, Toda is totally a clone. Yeah, he's not even the perfect clone. He's a throwaway clone.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of the ones that. And then considered defective.
Yeah, he's a defective because he can't use all of Negi's powers.
Yeah.
And you have basically the better clone.
Yeah.
There, and you're like, this is...
trying to take him out.
And then that's when you know...
he can't use magic, right? Like, he can use magic cancel, and he can use...
No, that's the thing that they just did in the... He can now use magic.
So he can use magic?
But the thing is, the reason why he's a defective clone is because the two... of magic cancel, which comes from the Asuna's house, which is
that whole bloodline,
which is also part of Negi's bloodline.
Yeah.
And then you have Negi's Magia Arabia, and you combine it into it. It basically mixes everything together, where the magic and ki are jumbled.
Yeah.
And then in the training arc, he learns how to
separate the two,
and then create two. So he's able to use magic, but. It's really hard for him to get to that point. Which is why he's more martial arts based. Which I like that, where I wanted a more martial arts based character, which we get from Toda. And then...
mostly uses his fists and his sword.
Yeah, and then we discover, like, okay, this is really interesting this is starting to answer those questions of back in Negima, in that timeline where Asuna is gone, which, again, in our theories, this is the time, like...
Yeah, we're operating within the timeline where Asuna is gone this whole time.
How did Negi disappear 20 years ago? Yeah. It's because he went to go fight the Mage of Beginnings with his group of people to try to seal it, and most likely, since it wasn't explained in Negima, but we could also think about it here, the way that Nagi also goes and does that same thing The reason why Nagi was missing is because he fought the Major Beginnings back in the festival, and back in when he did it, was able to live his life, and then after a certain amount of time, had to go fight the Major Beginnings and seal himself with him to keep the Major Beginnings from going out of control.
Seems like the same thing has happened to Negi.
Where the seal is starting to die down, and so he's now there. But now Negi and Nagi are trapped by the Major Beginnings.
But both of them are still alive because they're... the people who hold Pactios with them still have them.
Yes, exactly.
Or do we know for certain that have we seen anybody from Nagi's group yet?
No, we haven't.
No? Can we? Are any of them...
Well, we don't know what Alberino is.
Yeah.
Alberino could easily be immortal. If we see Alberino, boom.
That would be great.
Like, I loved Alberino.
Yeah, he was fun.
If we see Jack Rakan again... Dude. It's all over. It's all over.
Just, oh shit, Jack Rakan's back.
Technically, he can still live. He willed himself back to life originally.
That's true. Through sheer willpower, he came back.
So
ridiculous.
He could totally be alive and still be the same Jack Rakan.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows how Jack Rakan works?
Because remember, everyone in the magic world is basically illusions.
Yeah.
But they're technically living illusions. So
it's this weird in-between
zone. And that's why the whole thing about trying to bring the two worlds together is a thing.
Yeah.
And I love how it's bridging the gap of there's so many unanswered questions from when they ended Negima.
Yeah.
What are they? Let's answer them. Cool. And then... So that's starting to bridge the gap there.
Yeah.
And I love that fight against the other Negi clone, where literally they see Kiri and they go, "That's the eyes of a gamer."
Yeah.
Who's been up all night fighting the same boss.
Over and over again. And it's just like, she's redone this so many times.
And you get those flashbacks of when you had to do that with other when you were playing video games.
Playing games and just...
Bloodborne. You're
so many... Dude, who was the first I did that with in Bloodborne? Probably
Vicar?
I had trouble with Vicar for a while. Yeah. That was pretty frustrating. Honestly, what's her face? Bloodstarved Beast. Took me a while. So did he starts with an E.
I don't remember.
Abritus, the daughter of the cosmos.
Oh yeah, that one
was really rough.
Yeah, and that you get that feeling of and that's that's exactly
over and over
if her power is that base in that that way.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that moment.
Yeah, she's basically like a game character.
She's one of my favorite. She's like one of my favorite characters in the entire series.
Yeah. One thing I'm interested in: have they answered whether her timelines branch or she just redoes the timeline?
It's unsure. Well, the thing is, in the timeline that she leaves from, she's just dead. Because remember, that's what they said, where the robot guy goes, "Hey, when you go back, I want to go back with you, because I don't want to be in a reality where you're dead."
Yeah. But the question is
I think it's
that just a precaution in case that's the way it is? Or is it actually a branching timeline where
I think it might be actual branching.
She's dead? Because that really sucks then.
With a lot of those...
creating a lot of really shitty timelines
all
the time.
She's a very pivotal character.
And she dies a lot in order to solve a lot of problems.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of really messed up timelines out there. So that's why I'm hoping at some point we confirm that they aren't branching.
I'm almost certain
I really hope they aren't branching.
Well, she is best character, so...
She's pretty great.
And then we move on to the arc after that, and you go, okay, what's this arc? And it goes, it's the training arc. The tournament arc, where he goes, and you go, okay, cool, he's winning the tournament. And then he actually gets to the tournament, gets whooped by all those those returning characters.
Yeah, we get the people from Negima are back, and Negi fought at some point.
The skeleton guy.
The big old skeleton guy from the Mercenaries.
And then you also have the probably descendants of the two girls who were with Fate.
Yeah.
And then you're like, that's pretty cool. I like what you did there. And then he can't, and they cap him there. Where you know how you had Magi Arabia, and you go, wow, that's too powerful. Yeah. They cap him there because you can't use it.
Yeah.
And then you go into, I think was the most mind blowing arc.
Yeah. First, we meet up with the person who randomly meet up with. So Negi was trained
by Ava.
As his first real trainer.
Yeah.
And Toda hasn't had a first real trainer yet.
So who do you taught Ava?
Yeah.
You taught you get
he can't be trained by Ava too. Yeah, so he's taught by the person who taught Ava. Because she shows up.
And then you start with a training arc, you're like, that's pretty cool. And then you discover, no, this is Evangeline backstory arc.
Yeah, which has been my favorite section of UQ Holder so far. And, okay, weirdly enough at this point, my favorite character from Negima was Yui.
Yeah.
But in UQ Holder, my favorite character right now, which I'm really sad because I don't think we'll ever get to see her again, is young Evangeline.
Yeah.
Like her in those first...
Yeah, because
those first couple times they meet, we're
gone.
never going to see young Evangeline again. And it makes me really sad because that section of her when she was young Evangeline
is so much different.
My favorite.
It's so different. Well, dude, that's what I like.
So sad.
I loved about that whole entire that whole entire arc there. Where because now that arc's done, we're now done with that arc.
We finished that, and I'm really sad. Because I want more. I want more of really young Evangeline.
But doesn't that totally loop everything back in on itself?
It totally does.
It goes, why is she so attracted to Nagi and Negi? It's because Toda.
Yeah, weirdly enough.
Why is she taking care of Toda? It's because Toda
was actually there for a little bit, and she, as much as there were times when she didn't remember that section where she didn't show up when she should have. Also, let me just confirm this.
Yeah.
When he broke through...
That's actually canon. That's actually...
No, but didn't it say that timeline collapsed in on itself?
Oh, that's true. You're right.
So she wouldn't actually remember that. Because he broke through and the timeline collapsed. So
yeah, that's true.
I don't think she would remember that, but I think she would remember all of those original encounters.
Yeah, the problem is, it's we had that whole moment where he proposed and stuff like that, and she was like, "It's 500 years late. It's your own fault."
Yeah,
he was waiting there, but but I like that moment because the thing is, because you need the moment where Evangeline is still the evil witch that she is.
Yeah.
But when you see her with him with Toda or her with Toda, it's a totally different Evangeline.
Yeah, it's her before she's. I mean, she's only 16 at that point, right?
Yeah, it's the beginning
16
of
16 in a 10-year-old's body.
Yeah, it's the beginning of her timeline.
Yeah.
Basically.
She's had 6 years of immortality at this point.
And so you see and go, okay, this is you know the ending, and this has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And the moment where it goes back in on itself and it goes, she digressed is because all those years alone.
Yeah.
And then
so much time.
The only reason why she didn't come back to see Toda was she didn't think she was good enough.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fantastic. Amazing.
It was great.
And because I like that whole again the whole sequence of starting with the Evangeline, oh my god, everything, and to the part where he starts she teaches him how to control his own self.
Yeah.
And
had she developed Magic Arabia at that point?
No, this is before she developed Magic Arabia.
Okay.
I think this is when she's still starting to develop it.
Yeah, because I was unclear as to
this is when she's starting with her puppet master because she has all the
because she showed him her first
the dolls
the doll and she had a bunch
of
dolls.
And then you have the moment. One of my favorite fights ever was just the moment where Toda just goes, "Throw me the hula hoops."
Yeah,
puts on the hula hoops. Boom!
And he starts actually being able, and he uses Negi's technique.
Yeah, and I love the trope where they're like, he was the strongest one of all of us. Should we fight them individually, or should we just charge them all in at once? No, we'll just charge them all in at once.
We'll just all charge.
I'm that's such a great trope of it. Just
yeah.
Instead of doing fight up the thing and fight each other, no, just fight them all at once.
We'll just all go at you right now, and they make it through, which is great.
Which I want to know what was in Santa's box.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's such a great, I want to know. Because I was I like that little story with Santa where it's just
he's got what's her face
the siren. It's a siren, but I don't know.
No, she's not a siren. She's a
scion.
Scion.
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't even a scion, was she? I
think he's the scion.
She was a necromancer that became a reverend.
Yeah, reverend. There you go.
And she made him into a reverend.
Yeah.
Same as her. But she retained all.
I like that whole entire backstory. I felt so much emotion with that backstory. I was like,
for Ava's.
No, for Ava and Santa's.
Yeah, and for Santa's too. That was.
And I love Ava's backstory because it totally loops back in on itself and goes, okay, everything.
That's been my favorite part of UQ Holder so far. That sucked me in more than anything else. And I'm still so sad that
I
we're
know.
never gonna see young Ava
But like,
again.
you understand now where I was, the excitement I had week by week of like, where are you going with this?
Honestly, I'm glad I waited till this point.
Now that it's
because I knowing me and the way I watch and read things,
you would have hated yourself week to week.
One, I would have hated it week to week. Two, I don't think I would have gotten quite the same emotional impact that I had reading that crunch together. Because that's just kind of how I am with stuff like that.
For me, I'm so used to reading week. Like I'm such a good like
stuff like that
on point with everything. So like for me, it's just like okay, a new one. Okay, I still feel those like pick up the emotions back where I was.
I can't just grab the emotions that the last.
Well, now you're gonna have to read it weekly with me.
I have to read it weekly with you.
But I think for me.
But once it gets to a certain point, I'll go back and reread.
Yeah.
From probably the point I am right now onwards,
I
can get it right after another. I understand.
For me, I love Ken Akamatsu's stories weekly because I started again Negima like week to week, and the thing is, week by week you're having these mysteries and this like the
fun
cliffhangers,
stuff to look into.
the cliffhangers, and you're sitting there theorizing of like, what is
what's gonna happen?
And I haven't like when I came back to Yuki Hoarder, I finally am getting that again of like. Oh, this is this timeline. Oh, it's now like looping in on itself.
Yeah,
and you get these
all the
theories,
mysteries and theories that are popping up.
And then now you're introducing back in on all the old characters of like, oh look, there's the kids of.
Yeah, we're throwing in more and more characters now too, which will be fun.
I love the joke where somebody was like, "Hey, Negima started off as a harem and then ended up in the battle manga.
Yeah.
Now Yuki Hoarder isn't gonna start as a battle manga
and end up as a harem.
Which I would be totally laughing and love every moment of it. Like
if that happened.
Because again,
it's basically Love Hina now, right? Just with this last episode of them like showing up at the hot spring.
We'll get to that because I'm gonna split it so I could do it a little bit thing after that. But now I'm interested in all the characters because I think it's Class Rep and her daughter and Chachimaru are now
all showed up.
They're now showing up at the hot springs as well because remember they said we have a VIP guest.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, I think it's them because remember she's like, I want to meet this Tota Kanoe.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna get them. We're gonna get the children of the Setsuna Konoka.
Yeah.
And then
they made an appearance. Who I feel like Shinobu. Is she? Do you think she's gonna be related to someone?
1 second. Let's get on this
to that
because I want to. Again, I'm gonna split that in a second.
Yeah.
But now that you're caught up, before we actually talk about the actual latest chapter.
The latest chapter. Okay.
How are you enjoying Yuki Hoarder?
I'm really enjoying it. In the beginning, like I had that problem initially where it felt like they switched the story up so much really quickly. And I still feel like
they did.
As much as that was done and slightly an awkward transition, I completely forgive it just because of where we are now.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here and to have gotten to this point. Like
it's a wild ride of just like, oh my god, just revelation.
Yeah.
Like
the first thing that really hyped me up was when Mana showed up again, just because it like everything else. As cool as it is and as exciting as much as I liked it, that was the first thing to just blindside me. Yeah. As a reference from Negima, I was like, shit.
Well, yeah, like
she just showed up. Like I was already thinking, like, okay, this is as far as our flashback goes. We're at Mahora. He's training where Negi did. I didn't think they were gonna take it any further than that.
Like
they just totally did right off the bat.
The Fate thing was cool.
Yeah.
But then the minute Mana came in, and then she shows the footage of the other tournament of Kufei and Yue back to back fighting, just goosebumps all over my body, just like this is so great.
That was one of the pictures I sent you. Like I just saw a flashback of Yue show up again. I was like, yes.
That's all you need. Like
Yue's
the thing is, because we know those two characters are most likely dead at this point.
Yeah.
And that's all.
And
you
even
needed.
if they're still alive, they're really old.
That's all you needed to see of them, and you just get you get those emotions back from Negima. Bring it all back.
I am sad. My favorite character from Negima is not immortal, so there's no chance of them showing up in the story.
Yeah,
like Yue is not gonna be there
unless like somehow like one of her kids is there. Like it's like
the
only way is we get an old Yue who's like still like a detective, like as old as Class Rep, and somehow using magic to prolong her life a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And, like, or her kids, which I would say, okay, we already have sets, like, we have a bunch of their kids. I don't want to see more of them. Yeah. But I would be a little bit down to see...
Yeah. I want to see some connection to Yue show up, because I liked her so much.
I want... Because the thing is, like, the main character...
We haven't seen anything related to... Nodoka yet.
Yeah, the thing is, what I liked about it is you're filling in the gaps. Yeah. You're telling me what's happening in these past 80 years. Yeah. And it's slow... And it's gradual, because, again, it's its own singular story, so it's not going to totally tell us everything. But you're giving us those little tidbits that just makes me happy.
Fun hints that are nice to see.
Yeah, fantastic. Just picking up where you left off. Like, the thing is, I'm excited now of where we're going to be 100 chapters from now.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be... I can't even imagine where we're gonna be at that point.
Because these past couple arcs is like, you just redid, like, Festival, and you kind of just redid, like, a tournament arc. Like, the beginning of Magic World. Yeah, we're having a tournament arc
going on right now.
Where are you going next? But, like, they're going to space!
Kiri's power totally fills the same gap, or the same... It provides the exact same thing, the time travel device
as Festival.
In the Festival arc had. So in order to do this in a very interesting, everything in a sort of interesting sort of way, we have a power like that. So you can go, okay.
But you just spent the past 100, like the first 97, like I don't think 80s. I don't know what chapter we're on anymore.
97.
Oh shit. We're almost to 100. Oh.
We're almost 100 chapters.
But we're like the first.
I hope he gives us something cool at 100.
No, I don't know, but
I bet you that's gonna be the first chapter. You know how a bunch of new characters are showing up?
They're gonna all come up.
I think 100's gonna be when we have the biggest gathered cast of characters related to Negima that we've had yet.
But hopefully. I like that. It's like, where you go from here, because you're now at where Magic World was.
Yeah.
Where do you go? Where do you go? Because originally when I wired Magic World again, I go, I don't see anywhere they could have went after this.
Yeah.
Where? And now it's like, now we're gonna see it.
Yeah. Now we get to go there. I mean, I don't know how many chapters it's gonna take till we hit Mage of Beginnings.
Well, we have the tournament, we have to fight the clone, we have to even get up to Magic World, maybe.
Yeah.
There's so much.
Make our way to Mars.
Oh, again, back to Mars. Man, that revelation where, like, I love that in Negima.
It was Mars the whole time?
Yeah, I love that revelation, because when I was reading it week to week, I was like, that blindsided me super hard, where I went, oh my god, everything fits in. Yeah. Chao, she says she's a Martian. Magic World, cute. It's in Mars. Oh my god, it's amazing.
Just all building off a previous.
So now,
which is awesome.
I'm gonna. What do we? Yeah, just clap. Cool.
Okay.
For people listening to the full thing, this is gonna be weird, but for people listening to the other thing,
but it's fine. We're transitioning into
now,
our separate
chapter 97 of Negima.
Yeah, this is most recent chapter.
This like the fall section. This might be another segment that's gonna continue. Is where we're gonna keep talking about manga.
Yeah. And
for specifically Yukio Hoarder, because it's really exciting right now.
Yeah.
And
we're both really hyped.
Oh, dude! This one was again. It's still doing more post stuff. Yeah. But it's now presenting things that you go, ooh, where's this? I'm excited to see.
Where's this going?
Because first thing you do right off the bat is like, yo, Yukihime, do you like Toda?
Yeah.
And she's dodging the question.
She completely dodges the question.
Because you go back off from like 500 years too late, but I don't know, like, you're immortal.
Yeah. Because it's, I mean, if you live that long, obviously things are going to be quite complicated here.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see how this progresses, because I don't think we'll get... Also, wait, quick thing. How many times have they brushed off who Negi ended up with?
Well, in this timeline, he doesn't end up with anyone.
He doesn't, okay.
Because of...
Oh, that's true.
Because it's the timeline where Suna's missing.
Yeah.
So, again, we would never know that.
Yeah.
But... Because a lot of people were mad because they're like, man, this whole arc is destroying my Negima ships. Because, there's the people who shipped her with Nagi. Yeah. And there's the people who shipped her with Negi. And literally you burned those ships to the ground.
Yeah, it was it was Toda the whole time. Toda from the beginning. Coming out of the woodwork here.
And I was like, yeah, like Toda right from the beginning. And I was like, I'm on that ship. And now it's like, the ship is like on fire, but there's people trying to like throw the water on the
back
fire.
On it. Well, I think probably a lot of what's happening here is Toda's still so young.
Yeah.
At this point, and as Yukihime's or Eva's lived for
maybe over time it would develop more into something.
Yeah, but I think at the point they are right now, she's totally really not going to happen. Like
because she's
young. Like, okay, you're really young at this point. You haven't even completely conceptualized and realized like the.
Technically, he's only like 2 years old. So
yeah, technically he's only like 2 years old, and even past that, he's still like what, a year into being an immortal.
Not even a year.
Not even a year.
Well, it's been a good amount of time because Shinobu actually looks like she's grown.
Yeah.
But basically, what I'm thinking is like I hope they do the Jitsuwa with this, where there's all these other girls who want the relationship in, but Toda only has feelings for Yukihime.
Yeah, from the beginning.
I love that people were like, you know what? If Yukihime want to accept him, go Shinobu ship.
It might as well. Yeah, I'm interested if Shinobu's gonna be related to anyone from Negima, or if she's gonna be a completely...
Or she's related from a character from Love Hina of the same name. Because she's very similar to Shinobu from Love Hina.
Yeah.
So I would love for her to be
somehow related to that.
Tie in their relationships.
Tie it all back together. That would be really interesting. I mean, they are at a hot springs resort.
Yeah, no, they
he's gaining his hair bit by bit.
If you went on Reddit, a lot of people were like, "Wow, this is too much reminiscent of like reverse Love Hina of like."
That's
because you haven't read or watched it, but I've watched all of it.
Yeah.
And this is literally like cool. You're doing kind of a Love Hina bit, like and it kind of goes back to Ken Akamatsu's roots of that's where you started from. I like it. Like it's kind of like a callback to here's where I started. Here's where I am now.
Yeah.
And I kind of just because again, what did they present? Yukihime is just like, hey, because I like it where Kiri is just like, I'm totally not into Toda, but like, it's kind of she's into him.
Yeah.
And then Koromaru is just like, I want to be a dude.
Yeah.
But everyone's pushing
me in that direction.
And he's very conflicted about his/her feelings to Toda.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I like it where Yukihime's like, hey, some mortal girl might just come along the ways and like sweep him off his feet. Cut to like literally Shinobu.
Like showing up, she's like, guess I should go find Toda.
Because, again, I didn't realize she was in the chapter with Setsuna and Kodaka's kids and Class Rep's kid.
Was that the one where she called?
Yeah, she called and got that, and stuff like that. So, she's going to go, she's going in, she's going in to visit and stuff like that. And I kind of like that little thing.
Yeah. Her coming on. Honestly, I'm excited to have her show up.
Because I'm
making things more interesting.
I want to see if she becomes a main character. That's what I'm kind of like, even though she's not immortal, she's not a number, but I want to see if she becomes a main character and kind of her dynamic comes in, because she's the tech side of things now. Like, I know we have the two, Mr. Afro and his friend, wheelchair dude.
With their magic apps.
Which
Toda can't use.
Yeah, but she's more of the tech side of the machines and stuff like that, and the rockets. And I want to see her come in as... Because you remember, she was hinted at, like, she was back in, like, episode, like, chapter 2 of, like, hey, we're going to go to the capital if you ever see each other. Like, come hang out. So it's like, cool, we're coming back to that.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it? Show me what you're going to do. And I'm really hoping she's more of a prolonged character. And I hope, like, I just thought about this right now, if she's just not one of those kill-off characters that they get close and they kill her off to, like, prove the immortal point.
Yeah. I hope she isn't that. Also, what this got me thinking about, actually, Toda's friends are in the capital right now.
2 of them.
2 of them are. And I bet you anything, at least one of them is in the tournament.
No, here's the thing that I just remembered right now that I forgot to bring up. Here's where the theories now come in. Remember how we talked about how one of them looks like Fate, too?
Yeah, one of them looks a lot
But I remember
like
when Fate was talking to them, he kind of called them dolls as well. Huh. And I'm wondering if Toda's friends aren't actually, like, human as well.
Huh. If there's some other...
Like...
fabrication of some
sort. Like, different, like, different, like, copies, or not even that, but, like, creations of some sort.
Yeah.
It's just a far out thought, but it's like that's a really interesting thing to think about because
especially if the friends that he is so keen on that will eventually eventually move past would actually be somewhat immortal or something.
Yeah, or not even that, but like some twist that they're actually creations of some sort. And I want to kind of see what they would do with that, but that's 100, 200 chapters. Who knows how long this goes for?
Yeah, that's something that we wouldn't figure out for a long
time. That's far down the line, but I'm really interested to see what happens in this because, again, I like the little sequence of she goes into the thing, very much the first episode of Luffy, of just, let's look around, no one's here, let's go to the hot springs. Because for some reason, that's everyone's first thought, like, I came out of this
might as well go take a bath.
Let's take a bath. Oh no, this is a mixed bath. Oh wait, that's a demon. Oh wait, what's going on?
Run out, and then
apparently, Toda didn't even realize that she was a girl the whole time.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you're so soft. Oh, you're a girl.
And so,
Toda.
I'm excited to see what they do with her next year. Next week. The thing is, like, now the character relationships are so, like, not in flux, but, like, so spread out.
Everything just spread out right now. In these last few chapters, with the progression we've had, all these, like, it was definitely all twined together like a string or something, and the end's just frayed off now. And we'll see where it goes.
But I like where all the relationships are of, like, how everyone's related to each other and how everyone I like his little group. I like all the little things of it. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Yeah. Okay, I have two somewhat short-term predictions that I want to put out there, and we will see if they happen.
Yeah. We'll end off on these predictions right now.
One is the previously stated. I think at least one of his friends is going to be participating in the tournament. Mm-hmm. Whether they fight together, fight against each other.
But the thing is, I don't feel like his friends are that strong.
That's the reason why I was considering this might not happen. But it's just something I'm pulling out of my ass that I think I'm interested to see.
They actually are really good at magic apps, and then
or something like that.
They're able to fight in the tournament and actually do pretty well. And then it's like they're trying to get money to bring their friends with them to the capital.
Yeah, which would be cool. So that's one prediction. And the other one is... Oh, shit. I totally forgot it.
Anything about Shinobu?
I feel like... Oh, yeah. It's that... My other prediction is that when we hit Chapter 100, it will be the biggest reunion we've seen yet.
And if not...
Negima-related characters.
If not, something big might happen.
Something big on 100, hopefully.
I wouldn't... Like, even if there isn't...
I'm not going to be disappointed.
Because, I can't see anything. Like, remember what I said is as you get closer to catching up, those chapters seem a lot shorter.
Yeah. There's not that much that can happen, but I'm still gunning for...
this is 97. Reunion, This is 97.
So
if you do 2 chapters... 99. If you have 2 chapters of, like, characters still doing things, and then 100 of them, like, oh yeah, class reps here.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they still need to get... If that was to happen, we'd still need to get those 2... Asuna's not Asuna.
Class rep or no,
Setsuna and Konika's.
I think I've been saying Nodoka this whole time.
Yeah,
that's right. Setsuna and Konika.
Yeah, they're supposed children.
Together. That swerve of like, yo, he's a Konoe. Wait, what?
We're a Konoe too.
But when you first start off, you're like, wait a second, when you're still trying to figure out the family tree, is like, okay, Negi married somebody, and then Nodoka and Konika had kids. They had kids, and then those kids got together, and Todo came, right?
Yeah.
Right? No.
Nope. Todo's a clone at this point. For some reason, sharing the last name.
I think probably, that's the thing that I'm kind of...
Which makes me wonder, were they somehow...
Konika's grandchildren, they seem to be in some sort of lab, if I remember right. So
I thought they were in space.
Oh, they're in space?
I assume they were in space. I don't know
I'm just going to throw this out here. Again, another random theory prediction. This is exactly why I love Ken Atsu's work, is because you get to this level.
You get to do this.
Is, what if, those were 2 scientists that were working on the project and said, oh, this is not good. Try to take him out. They died in the crash. They died on the escape.
Yeah.
And just picked up the name Konoe because of them.
Yeah.
Meaning that, Konika and Setsuna's kids are working on some sort of thing. which would kind of make sense with like Negi disappearing and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. So he's not like blood related to them or anything, but he would be kind of like not even emotionally related, but kind of came from similar.
So here's my question: who are the characters that you're thinking of right now that are basically most guaranteed, at least, or you think will come back and appear from Negima? We have already Fate, Mana, and Evangeline.
Yeah, they've all shown up.
And then we have Chachimaru, which I'm assuming is Chachimaru.
It looks like Chachimaru.
It's too much like Chachimaru not to be Chachimaru.
And it also looks like class rep.
Well, yeah, because remember, she's an old lady at this point. Yeah. So it's
So
those...
we have them there. Zazie should still be around.
Zazie should be around. Because remember what I was talking about.
Yeah.
If you read the epilogue, she's there for relations between Mars and Earth at some point, and she's an ambassador. But that's a story yet to be told. As Evangeline's, she went to go look for her loved one is a story yet to be told.
Oh, looking for a loved one, eh?
It's totally...
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. I hadn't made that connection yet.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Who else do we have that would still be around?
I mean, unless...
I feel like Ghost Girl's moved on at this point.
Unless, Sayo moved on with Asakura. Asakura...
But what if she was still around and she and Santa became friends?
Oh my god. But I don't think so.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I would think that she would move on with Asakura because they were such great friends.
Yeah.
Unless Asakura is somehow still alive.
Still around.
Like, if Class Rep's still around...
Other characters could still be around.
But the people that I could conceivably think would still be around would probably be like Yue and Nodoka. Those would be the most notable of like the two. But I have very low hopes for that.
Yeah. Do we have anybody who had a Pactio that would have somehow been able to help them stay a lot longer for anyway? I can't think of anyone.
The only person would be Akko, who basically had like, but that's only to make them more energizing. It was basically adrenaline.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But besides that, I'm excited for where he's going. 100, 150, 200.
Yeah.
If you go back if you get up to chapter 300 again, bravo.
That would be amazing.
I can't, because...
Be on this for so long.
You start at, it'd
be like 4 more years, right?
Oh, or so. Wow, a long time. Well, no, it would be... To get to 300, that would be 4 years. Because 100 chapters is 2 years.
Yeah.
Especially because Ken Akamatsu works very similar to Oda time.
Yeah.
Meaning that he takes a lot. He takes a break a lot.
So it'd probably be more like 5 years.
No, it's again Oda time, so about 2 years or so.
Yeah.
Because I like it where, unlike Oda, where he's taking breaks because of health reasons, which, good on you, Oda, take your breaks.
Yeah.
He's taking breaks because I needed to go do research.
Yeah.
Or, his wife.
His wife needs him.
But I'm really excited. I can't wait to see where this goes from here.
Yeah, new chapter on Tuesday. Can't wait for that to
Which technically is when this comes out, so, this is really funny that way.
Yeah.
We're about 1 week behind, but whatever.
It's okay.
But, I think that's it. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, besides my predictions, no. At this point, I'm just excited to see what happens next.
I'm so glad that you're on the
finally caught up.
You're on the ride with me. And
finally made it.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's been a climb up, but I'm here.
So even if you've actually sat through this, what will now be 2.5 hours, if you got to this point, or if you just skipped to one of the ending videos here, read Negima. Please read Negima.
Negima's great.
Read Yuki Holder.
We enjoy Negima. We enjoy Yuki
It's a hidden
Holder.
gem. It could pop it's up there in masterpiece tier, and
it's great. Get through the first 70 or so chapters of Negima.
Even
it might be tough. If you're not into that sort of thing. Yeah. But just unless you absolutely despise it, stick with it. And I know for me, it totally redeemed itself.
Yeah, it redeemed itself really,
and much further.
And then watch Kekai Sensen. Great.
Yeah, Kekai Sensen's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So until next week. Goodbye and good
signing
night.
off.